Crack open a cold box of wine or pour something cold on ice because it's the Binge-Watchers podcast.
David, you can talk during this version.
Oh,
it's an overlay. Yeah.
Well, would have been nice to know that 30 seconds ago.
Well, I'm trying to up the ante here on the video version, so they don't have to sit through like just a little static title card. Welcome, everyone, Bingers. It's Johnny Spoiler here with Jordan Savage, who will drop a Savage review even if she hasn't seen the movie. And David, who brings the dangerous facts because he's that dangerous. He's got an encyclopedia of movie knowledge. It's Binge-Watchers podcast. Hopefully you're tuning in for a hell-raising good time. We're about to review Hellraiser 2022 and Werewolf by Night. So stay tuned or drop in whatever is going on. Listen to it for more than 45 seconds. I promise it'll be a good time. That's what it says on a condom package, I think. I stole that from Trojan, folks. Sponsored tonight by Trojan Condoms. That's about good times. I should reach out to a condom company. That'd be a good sponsor. Do you think like podcasters want to be safe? Yeah, they want to. Podcasters and podcast listeners want to be safe out there, right?
Safe sex, baby.
Chill.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Netflix and chill. Classic. They should put that on a. That's probably already on a condom wrapper. It's definitely on a bumper sticker. Okay. So what do you think would entice you to get caught by a Cenobite was a question. I wrote down we were going to raise hell, but I didn't really write down like an opening question. But then I thought later, I should ask Jordan and Dave, like, what would it take for them to be tricked by a Cenobite? Or like, what would be the lure you in kind of situation? Like, are you going to solve a puzzle box? Like, are you the kind of person that gets curious and will solve a puzzle? Or, insider tip, like, if you find a puzzle box randomly, I guess you got to make this conscious choice. Do you try to solve the puzzle, or with the risk of being dragged into hell by a group of demons called the Cenobites, who are run by a dude who has pins in his head, Pinhead. They're pretty descriptive, the names of these demons. Dave is going to give you a whole bunch of history. No pressure, Dave, to tell everybody about the Hellraiser movies. But I'm pretty curious to find out. Like, so David, are you going to try to solve this puzzle box because you're just curious and you do escape rooms and you're like, oh, look at this little toy. This is like a grown-up like puzzle. I should solve this thing.
I guess it depends on what do I stand to gain. Like, I have a hell of a lot to lose. Yeah.
So you're not curious enough to just play with it like as a toy and be like, oh shit, now there's demons.
I totally would.
I mean, with knowing what I know, no, I'm not going to touch it.
Okay, but David, in this scenario, the Hellraiser movies don't exist, but the puzzle box is real and the Cenobites are real. Like, they're just walking around in our reality. That's how it is.
Yeah, I'm not going to play with the box if that's the...
I would totally play with the box.
Oh, damn, Jordan's opening the box.
I'm totally trying to solve the puzzle just because I cannot help myself.
Are you good enough at puzzles to solve the final configuration and go full Cenobite yourself? Or do you just think you're a victim?
I probably think I'm a victim. I don't think I would be particularly great at solving this final rendition of the puzzle, but I love puzzles. I'm doing a 1,000-piece puzzle right now. So I'm a puzzler. So
dang.
Would you play?
I just said it was the context of reality, so I guess I can't say I'd be a final girl because we're no longer playing if you're stuck in a Hellraiser movie. I kind of said if it was real.
You did say that.
I don't really do puzzles in real life. Like, I don't think I have the patience for it. I mean, I'm a smart dude, kind of, but I'm very elementary in other fashions, and like, I will get super frustrated. I don't think I'd be good at doing like the escape rooms at the mall or like with a group of friends. I just think over time I just get bored. So I mean, it would just like if I had it, it would just sit on a shelf and like everybody's safe. Or like if it was the escape room style, I think I would accidentally break it in frustration and be like, okay, I'm just smashing a hole, Hulk smash right through the wall. I'm not playing this game. I'm done. I've lost patience for it. Like. So I think then accidentally I would just unleash hell on earth for everybody. Everybody just gets destroyed because I'm just like, I'm done playing. I'm tired. Unless we're bowling, I'll bowl 10 freaking frames. But that's not a puzzle. That's just send the ball down the lane, knocks things over.
Bowling's dope too. Love that.
That's how they get me, the Cenobites. Like, I'm in a bowling alley. That's how they get me. That's how they get me, man. The 10th frame. Damn it. And then I'd be like a bowling Cenobite. They haven't done that yet. They should have a bowling Cenobite. Why not? Anyway, where are we? Okay, let's...
Different kind of pinhead, I guess, huh?
Oh, see how quick she is? She must have had bang energy. What are you drinking tonight?
Nothing.
What the hell?
All Raw dog in the podcast.
Yeah. Okay. Home video headlines. Marvel's making a new Blade movie, but the Blade director already quit. And rumors are that the star, Mahershala Ali, is unhappy with the production and the script. There's supposed to be only 2 action set pieces in the whole movie, 2 major action sequences, which is they have to live up to their reputation of the Wesley Snipes Blades. First 2 are great. The third one falls apart. There's a notorious fallout between the original director of Blade and Wesley Snipes when they bring in Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel for the third one and kind of write Blade out of the story. But it sounds like the new Blade's having similar issues, and that's really devastating because I love the Blade movies. You know what I mean? So, I heard this and I was like, damn, man, Marvel, they're really sucking lately. With the exception of, we're going to talk about something tonight that I'm, spoiler alert, happy about. So we'll get to that. Have you seen any of the Blades, Jordan?
Yeah, it was one of my my shame screenings not that long ago. During
I must have skipped my memory because I was sitting here gripping the edge of my chair, going, "I hope she's seen one of the Blades."
Yeah, I hadn't seen. I don't think I had seen. I can't recall if I saw number 2. I definitely have not seen number 3, but I saw the original probably late spring or early summer of this year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Another Evil Doll movie is coming. Movie. I put the words coming and movie together into one word. Sorry, folks. An Evil Doll movie. There's this movie called Magic. I don't know if it's actually about magic. I've never. This is a movie I haven't seen because I have no interest in it. It's Anthony Hopkins, and the dummy looks evil, kind of like the Goosebumps dummy.
And so I've actually seen it.
Oh, you've seen it? Okay, well, yeah. Sam Raimi's remaking it. He's a good horror movie director. If you've ever seen Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, Drag Me to Hell. What else has he done? The Spider-Man movies, at least the original 3, and then he just did a few weeks ago.
Or not Mountain of Madness.
We were talking about Doctor Strange the other day. Yeah. So would we need another Evil Doll movie? I mean, I think kind of Evil Dolls are kind of played out at this point.
Because it's being made by Sam Raimi, I'm all for it. Sam Raimi, another horror movie. So just that alone, I'm going to say yes. If it was anybody else, I'd agree with you. All right, we've done enough Evil Dolls, but Sam Raimi, all right, I'm on board.
This is ridiculous news. They're making an Animal 2. It's probably going to be on Tubi with Rob Schneider, of course. I mean, he's in the original Animal. And then, his co-star is, a contestant from, either America's Got Talent or the original singing competition. What was that one called? American Idol? It's, the winner of Idol Season 2 or something, 2 or 3.
I think...
I don't even remember her name. But
it was somebody from, the first season of Survivor, I think.
Oh, was it Survivor? Anyway, yeah, it was, a reality show winner. This is more up Jordan's alley. You should go watch The Animal, Jordan. You like reality stars. Oh, look at her. She's all offended. Folks, if you're just listening, Jordan's face fell on the floor.
You're not wrong about the reality TV stars thing, but I do like Rob Schneider. I think he's
he's really funny, but this is actually The Animal's his worst movie. He's a security guard. I can't remember if he actually works as a security guard or if he's a policeman in training. But basically, the joke of the movie is the $6 million man. There was an old TV show. David, who's the actor? $6 Million Man. You know,
Lee Majors.
Yeah, Lee Majors, Fall Guy. Yeah. So the show in that is they rebuild him, and he's worth that number of dollars in the rebuild because they make him a cyborg, right? Bionic Man or something like that. They made Bionic Woman too. That was a spinoff. But we're gonna get stuck down a rabbit hole very quickly. Okay. Anyway, Rob Schneider's character gets into an accident, and some random taxidermist / evil scientist, whatever, in the boonies, puts him back together, but instead of robotic or bionic parts, it's freaking like animal parts, hence called The Animal. Yeah. The movie's horrible. Rob Schneider's best movie is probably The Hot Chick.
I love
body
that
swapping
one
comedy
so much.
Yeah. I don't know. Or he's really funny, but he has a bit character in The Wrong Missy, which surprisingly is like a. You know what's really funny? I feel like Adam Sandler doesn't star in his movies that his company puts out if he thinks they're gonna suck, and then he sticks his wife in it as like another character, or his friends. He'll put like Spade in it, or Schneider, or the group of them, like Spade, Schneider, and who played the skating prostitute in Reno 911, David?
Oh,
Nick somebody?
Nick Swartzen.
Nick Swartzen. So Nick Swartzen's in it. So it's like all Adam Sandler's buddies, like in Grandma's Boy, like all the supporting. Do you know this trend, Jordan? Like in all the
they're like all in the same.
Yeah.
Movies.
So they'll be the second tier Sandler movies that Sandler's not in himself. All his friends will be in the other movies. But The Wrong Missy is actually really funny. As it turns out, and Rob Schneider's in there as like a shark expert who, of course, has been bitten. His hand's been bitten off by a shark, right? Naturally. So,
or is that in 50 First Dates where he like plays he's
the
like
Hawaiian with the one
eye?
Yeah.
And he does have a shark bite in that one too, so maybe that's just a theme.
Repetitive jokes, yeah. Okay. Now, I don't even know how I guess I could have naturally searched this out. Oh, I think I saw it on Facebook. It's either Reddit or Facebook, but it is a Reddit thread. There's actually a Hellraiser themed sex toy meme, right? I don't think it's like it's a male sex toy. It's in the sucker category. That's what they call them. It's a flashlight. Yeah, there you go. It's a famous one, but somebody photoshopped, Pinhead's little pins, his nails from his head onto the sides of the mouth, and just floated that around the internet. And I was thinking, like, damn, you know what? Like, I would die. I would die like this because I thought about, like, think about this. Oh, Jordan doesn't even want to be on camera for this part.
Not true. My cat was held hostage in this room. So.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry. Yeah.
We frequently make jokes that her cat Frank is actually the human resource director, and every time we go into this gray area, we like think that we have to.
It's perfect.
Involve
so
the
if you
cat
have
anyway. So
of the Fleshlight Hellraiser mashup, you send them to Frank at BW Podcast.
Anyway, like I sat there and thought for a second. My first initial reaction was just pure joy and laughter because, like, of course, somebody would make a joke about a sex toy in Hellraiser. Why not? Because they do with everything else. And then I was sitting there thinking, like, well, there is actually a market for movie-themed sex toys, and we've talked about it before. Like, there's, like, Avengers. There's, like, the Thor's hammer. There's obviously a Hulk one, right? Big green. You fill the rest in with your imagination. But it would make sense that they could market it, and I think people would buy it. I mean, there's a whole, like, actually horror fanatic lifestyle that it's more than the horror movies. It's like t-shirts and like the cosplayers and like a whole like attitude. I was like, why wouldn't they buy that? And then I was thinking it wouldn't be pins. Like, it wouldn't really hurt you. But then I thought, there's like a biological imperative to do just that. You know what I'm saying, David? Like, there's gender imperatives. Like, oh, there's a volcano. How hot is it really? Let's go find out. Let's stick something in there. Let's put our arm in there. There's a scene in Flash Gordon where they stick their arm in this mysterious thing. It's supposed to test like your courage or something. And I'm like, oh, it's the same thing. You gotta go do this. It's like a primitive built-in caveman or genetic imperative to like, oh, that needs to be filled. I think I'm the guy that I think I can fill it. I'm a filler of things. So like I'm like looking at this Hellraiser toy going, you know what? There was a toy like 10 years ago called the French Tickler. I was like, why don't they just put like little fuzzy friendly things on the outside that look like the pins and you could really sell the sex toy?
There has to be a market for it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
I mean,
definitely.
I wouldn't be surprised if like, some place has like marketed Hellraiser S&M, bondage gear or something of that sort.
Well, they couldn't license it. Well, who's the studio now? Hulu? Which is really Disney. So I think Disney would shut them down if they didn't have licensing rights to put his Hellraiser toy out there. That's really funny to think that Disney actually technically owns Hellraiser now. How funny is that?
That is weird. In fact, I saw an article that joked like, "Oh, does that mean like Pinhead is a Disney princess now?" Because
whoa, because it's Miss Pinhead in the new one. It's a spoiler alert, folks. It's a female Pinhead, but she's not like the first female Cenobite. There's like female Cenobites going all the way back to the first one, and in the sequels, there's other ones. So we might talk about them. I don't know if we'll remember. I wrote them down on my paper, but who knows? So as I said, tonight's movie is Hellraiser 2022. It's on Hulu. It's called Hellraiser on Hulu.
It's Hellraiser.
Kind of been a cursed franchise for many, many sequels. But this one happens to be about a young woman who has to confront some supernatural forces behind the puzzle box who have made her brother disappear, and she's trying to solve it. David, I left this open for you because I didn't want to steal all the good bits about Hellraiser franchise. So,
well, I mean, I focus the facts solely on this movie, not so much a history of Hellraiser.
What a lazy move.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, there was a book called The Hellbound Heart written by Clive Barker back in them 80s. They made a couple movies with the original director and writer and then pushed them out for the third one. But original Pinhead, Doug Bradley's in like 7 of them movies. There's about 11 of them now, including this soft reboot remake.
Yes. So
I'm gonna give the rankings, but I'll wait till you're done with your little facts, your factoids.
Oh my little fact. No. So yes,
it is now because you said you concentrated only on one Hellraiser movie, not all of them.
All right. Yeah. So this is damn, I might be wrong on this. This is the first Hellraiser movie to not feature Doug Bradley as Pinhead. However,
it's not true.
So okay. Well, forget anything I say from this point out. I guess who knows.
He disappears in like the 5th or 6th movie.
All right, so we can all agree that he is the most well-known Pinhead. All right, so bad on me because I kind of
it's like Kane Hodder and Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. Like Doug Bradley is like pretty much synonymous with this character. I don't think anybody knows him from any other movies. It's like
yeah.
It's like one of those guys showing up in like a Saturday matinee of like a BB show, like BBC drama or something. You're like, wait a minute, that dude kills people in a summer camp. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those type deals.
Like you're seeing Freddy pop up and stuff long before actually Nightmare on Elm Street.
That has nothing to do with murder at all.
Yeah. So actually, as I found this was pointed out somewhere, this is the last of the big major franchises of the 70s and 80s to get an official reboot. So now Freddy, Jason, Chucky, Michael Myers, Leatherface have all had reboots, and this one has 2. Hell, even Leprechauns had a couple reboots, I think. So I don't know if John, I'm sure John noticed this, maybe even Jordan, because I think she watched the original this week. You could actually hear bits of the original score in the new movie. Cues from Christopher Young's score of the first 2 movies are heard throughout this new movie. I know I picked up on that. If you wanted to be a Cenobite, you'd have to sit in the chair, makeup chair for at least 4 hours and another 45 at the end of the day to get it taken off. So that's a big commitment in the makeup chair for this movie. This movie seems to have been cursed itself. I'm amazed we're finally seeing a reboot because this has been in the works for about 15 years. Back in 2007, it was announced that the directors of the French horror movie Inside were going to make a reboot then, but nothing came of it. So here we are, 15 years later, and now we finally have a new rebooted Hellraiser. So.
Wow. Okay. Thanks for the dangerous facts, David. Before we get to our favorite bits, we're going to jump over some messages. There's only a few tonight, so you can fast forward or you can listen to what goodies we have for you. What sites we have to show you is what the Hellraiser movies say. We have such sites to show you. All right. Where's my stuff? Good question. Oh, it's on my phone. We should have like elevator music play every time I make a mistake. It'll just like cue everybody off, right? Okay. Where are we at? There we go. All right, if you're like me, you're probably guilty of allowing the stress of everyday life to bleed into your home life and maybe even the bedroom. With our busy schedules and the pressure to perform at work, you may have difficulty performing elsewhere, folks. Meet Eddie, the modern ED treatment for the modern man. Eddie is a clinically proven, easy-to-wear device designed to help men of any age strengthen and maintain those erections. It's time to take charge of your sex life. Call 737-301-6111. Speak to a licensed nurse or visit us at eddiebygiddy.com and get the best version of yourself. eddiebygiddy.com, where innovation meets ED. Use code BINGE20 for 20% off. eddiebygiddy.com. Use code BINGE20, 20% off your bedroom action. One more message for tonight, folks. We're going to talk about Paramount Plus's free trial. Grab the link in our podcast notes. They're an affiliate. You can get a mountain of entertainment that's waiting for you on Paramount Plus. Plans start at $4.99 a month. You can cancel anytime. Together starting at $11.99 a month with all the Showtime originals and movies. Get those hit movies, docs, and sports all in one place. It's peak streaming from shows and movies you can catch here to the moments that the world can't stop watching. Stream it all on Paramount Plus. Peak originals, you can get captivating characters and explore the new worlds like in Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Star Trek Discovery, or the third season of Star Trek Picard, which is on its way out. You got 1883. You got Navy SEAL, a bunch of other cool stuff. The Beavis and Butthead, which Dave and I are following like crazy. It's peak Hollywood. Stream those new movies like Significant Other, On the Come Up, and Orphan First Kill exclusively on Paramount Plus, with more coming soon. Now back to our podcast already in progress with Jordan and her favorite bits from Hellraiser 2022. Favorite Cenobits.
There you go. I liked that. No, I mean, obviously the makeup was super sick for all of them. Is there like a new, what do they call them? The chatter?
The chatterer?
Yeah, the chatterer. I don't know.
I think he goes back to the first movie, actually.
He does, yeah, because there's
he's also in like 8 movies total, 8 Hellraisers or whatever.
Yeah, that one just gets me. I don't know why. Maybe because I went to the dentist earlier, like this last week a couple times, but just like the gums just really do it for me. But I was super devastated to find out that she was bamboozled by her junkie boyfriend and that he was really in it, spoiler alert, the whole time, and really was the one who like prompted her to do the puzzle box, and that's why she's in this horrible scenario. But I thought it was pretty good. So
that's a pretty good twist, though, right? That the boyfriend screws over the girl, the main girl,
yes.
And he was hired by the rich dude. Yeah,
he plays like a very good villain in this awful Netflix original, and it's called Outer Banks. Like, I know tons of people watched it. It's just so cheesy and overdone and really, really bad. But he does play like a good villain in that show too, so he's perfect for the role.
Nice. My favorite bits, basically anything in the house that was like a puzzle box itself. I thought that was an interesting twist, that it wasn't just the box yet. I mean, in a sense, you had to solve that house, just to get anywhere. Really like that. I don't know if you call him the main bad guy, but the guy that was essentially healed. Wish I would have wrote down the. Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, that sounds about right. But the guy that kind of was healed and got his comeuppance, but just the makeup on. I'm sure there was some CGI sweetening, but like just the makeup on him healing up, the tendons coming together over his bones, and
I think Dave's talking about the tycoon who tries to solve the puzzle, so he sacrifices a bunch of people for like 30 years. His mansion turns into a giant version of the puzzle box. Yeah, they don't know why he's getting healed, David. So maybe he needed to back up. Like, so he's got a puzzle box piece shoved through his chest, but the Cenobites are keeping him alive through magic or whatever, their hell powers.
Like twisting his nerve just enough.
Yeah, they're his nerve endings. So he's always in pain instead of never experiencing pleasure, because that's what he had chased the box for.
Like, I know you got to suspend your disbelief because it's a horror movie and like nobody's walking around solving puzzle boxes and unleashing demons and selling Hellraiser Disney sex toys. But like they show the guy, he's got the puzzle piece through his torso. He's still alive somehow. Then like they cut to he like is telling the flashback version of how he got the puzzle piece stuck in him and what he's been doing while rotting in his house for 30 years and crawling through the walls like a creep. It cuts to him sitting naked with the thing through his chest, and then back to the suit that he's wearing, and I'm like, wait a minute, how did he ditch the tuxedo to sit there and like, you know, cry about a situation and like sit in the dark and brood until somebody else plays with the puzzle box? Right? Because he takes so theoretically he's taken his suit off, sat there in, I don't know, contemplation, then put his suit back on when his guests arrived. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like an implausibility. And this is what I do with my time. I've watched so many movies that I'm really looking at details like, how did he get his fucking suit off? You know what I mean? He's a giant puzzle piece shoved through his chest. Whatever. Good tailor. I don't know. Who knows? You know what? There's a minor character in the beginning that works for this dude, and she just knows what's coming. And I think like she gets her comeuppance later in the movie. That's a cool part.
Well, then, so to go on with that, what are some of your favorite bits, John? A smooth transition we got going here.
We call him Derailed Dave now. Yeah. So,
oh, sorry, David.
What is your favorite part, John?
It's an element in this movie that has like a heightened or altered state when somebody becomes a victim to indicate to us that they're being stalked, and the others can't really see it. But I kind of like that. That's like kind of a new deal. I don't remember that in any of the other Hellraisers. But you know who gets it the worst? I like the van sequence where they're trapped in a van. They're trying to escape, but the one friend who's the roommate of the main character's brother or whatever, she got poked. The puzzle box got her, so she's next in line. The front of the van stretches into forever where the other people are, and the back of the van opens into a hellscape, and they annihilate this girl. And I'm like, oh man, the roommate got it the worst. Like, and she's like the most innocent because like she's like a tag-along character. She had no direct plot, and she's like the extra friend. I'm like, damn, dude. Like, she actually didn't. I was like, what sin did she commit besides touching the box and getting cursed? Like, I thought like she didn't really have a hand to play, you know, unless she had a bad opinion of the sister as well. Like, who knows? Like, the only old horror movie rules that work is like, oh, both the main girl, the boyfriend, and the boyfriend's boyfriend, they've all had sex, so they're all goners. but you know, the roommate who's like researching things on her cell phone at one point, and then happens to be at the mansion with them at the end. I'm like, oh yeah, like they really screwed her up, and like, you know, I don't know, David. That's it. That's my favorite part. Ratings, and then I guess I'll use the ratings to rank our official ranking of the Hellraiser franchise that I threw up on Instagram. I'll deliver that news in a second, but Jordan can take over again, and we'll talk about the movie ratings.
Yeah, it was a binge now for me, just because. I mean, I did also do the whole like train of Hellraiser 1, 2, and then this one, and so I felt like it did a good job of like kind of flashing back to some like scenes or kind of similarities from the first movie. And of course I haven't seen all of them, so I don't know if all of them do that, but I did like that. I liked that there was like this small flashback of like the actual labyrinth of hell when one of the Cenobites was coming out. I thought they did good with that. And like the makeup's obviously really cool, modern, just fun to look at. So binge now for me, for sure. What about you, Dave?
I'm gonna go ahead and say binge now as well. Like it was teetering on a binge later. I really like this movie, but I didn't love this movie. But I say it's in good company with at least the first two movies. Can't say much after that. So yeah, I mean, if you even marginally like the Hellraiser movies, definitely check this one out. So yeah, binge now. John?
I'm worried that people are gonna watch this and accept that as Hellraiser. Like if you Google Hellraiser, it shows you this first, right? Because Google's all about trends and what's hot, and like this is the newest one and it has the same name. But I think like this comes with caveats. It would be a binge now only if the person has already sought out the original parts 1 and 2 from the 80s and had an understanding of those two movies. Like I was even worried about Jordan, but she was crushing it. She did like extra credit. She even went to like a drive-in screening of The Shining.
Yep.
And also watched Hellraiser 1 and 2. So there you go. Which, by the way, Jordan was like, can you guys guess what movie I'm at? And she showed us a screenshot of just an opening of like the lake and mountain, like right before the car's driving through the windy road to the hotel. I said I had The Shining to get the answer, but I totally cheated. Just like I would cheat the puzzle box in the Hellraiser
How did
movies.
you cheat? Did you look it up?
I literally Googled the drive-in near your house, and I was like, let's assume she's at the closest drive-in because she said she wasn't going to do a lot of traveling in the fall, that she's slowing down her little trips. And so I just was like a little detective. I was like, oh, it's called this. Let me look at the drive-in screen. Does that drive-in screen look like the drive-in screen there? Yes, but there's for some reason, in the picture Jordan sent, there's a trailer parked in front of the screen. Let me look how the other cars are laid out in this other picture. And I was like, oh, there's a 85% chance that this is correct. So I was just like, let me type this really fast. And then I felt a little guilty, Dave, that you hadn't seen the message thread yet. But what are you going to do?
Yeah, because this was going on while I was driving. Like, the message like, hey, message from Binge-Watchers group. Hey, just over and over. I can't respond.
That was still real fast detective work there, though, John. And I went and saw the Stanley Hotel in person this weekend. So... Womp, 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 womp.
I'm like so jealous.
Yeah, it's literally 45 minutes from where I live up in Estes Park.
Yeah,
so.
Jordan lives in Colorado, which has the nation's 50% of the haunted places are there, and also the exterior locations of The Shining are there. Yeah,
it was cool.
Yeah. So that's that. I guess she gets total points because we can't shame the movies she's watched because she wouldn't watch a bunch of classics. And good horror movie stuff as well.
Drive-in? I'm jealous.
Yeah, A+.
Was that your first time seeing The Shining, or was
No, I've seen it before. I've seen it before for sure. But
he was gonna dock you Binge-Watchers points right there. He's like, "Well, was it your first?"
Well, that actually she just gained a few.
Yeah. No, and I love the drive-in. My buddy owns it up here, so it's always fun, especially when they're playing some classics.
She's ahead of you because you dropped the ball on the Hellraiser franchise delivery earlier.
The delivery of what? The history of all of them?
Yeah. During the Dangerous Facts, I was like,
Are you about to drop it for us right now, John?
No. I'm just gonna rank the movies for you and talk about. Well, we're also gonna talk about our favorite Cenobites. I forgot to tell you guys that, but we'll get to that. So our official ranking of the Hellraiser movies, or at least from my perspective, I've watched 9 of them. I haven't seen the last 2 sequels. Whatever. Hellbound Hellraiser 2 is number 1 for me, followed by the original. Then the third entry is literally the third entry, Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth. And all 3 of the originals follow one long story. So, Kirsty is in all 3 of them. If Dave had done his research, he would know that the Kirsty character continues in the Hellraiser comics and becomes a pinhead at one point. Fourth in line is actually part 5. I like Hellraiser Inferno, which is about a detective who doesn't, spoiler alert, realize he's stuck in hell and is already dealing with the Cenobites the whole time. And then the 4th movie is ranked 5th in my mind, which is Hellraiser Bloodline, which shows you who made the puzzle box, why he made the puzzle box, and his betrayer / wife / Cenobite, Angelique, is one of the best female Cenobites. She might be a little better than Miss Pinhead here in the new one. I wrote down my rankings of the female Pinhead. So Angelique, then the one called the Female, which is the first female. There's very simple with the names, So in 1 and 2, the Female is the name of the female Cenobite, and then we get to the female Pinhead. She's in the top 3. But I want to know your guys' personal favorite Cenobites in the Hellraisers that you've seen. So mine are obviously Pinhead, but I think Julia, who's the stepmom in 1 and 2, is the scariest character in all the Hellraisers. And she's not a Cenobite technically, but she causes a lot of bad things to happen. I like Camerahead from part 3 and CD from part 3. Literally, that's a dude with a camera in his head, and he can make things blow up for whatever reason through his camera. And then there's CD, which flings compact discs at people. Compact disc children were this thing back in the day that stored information of either movies or sounds. We used to listen to music on them, and this thing can eject them out of its face. Butterball, one of the original 4. That's what they call the ones that went through the first 3 movies.
Was he the giant one with the glasses?
Yeah, he's he's the obese one who's got these round glasses, and I'm like, oh, I was in Hellraiser, I didn't even realize.
Made me laugh so hard. I forget if it's in the first or the second, but there's a part where he whips his glasses off, and it just was. Oh,
I think that's part 2 because he dies in part 2. Yeah,
maybe. Yeah. Made me laugh. I like him.
Some of the Cenobites have personality, and you're like, oh, it sucks when they die, even though they've been torturing and murdering people the whole movie. That's it. There's your ranking. Oh, And I gave Dave some trivia that he didn't use. Henry Cavill, who's currently Superman, he's in the 8th movie, I think it's called Hellworld. I don't know who he is in that movie, but supposedly he's in the cast.
Seeing as how the main movie of the week was the new Hellraiser, that's what I focused on.
But it's Halloween season, Dave. There's a history with these Hellraiser movies. You got to mention the franchise on some level. Jordan, you're crushing it. Okay.
I watched a lot of movies this week.
Oh yeah. Should we talk about the end of the movie? The tycoon became a Cenobite. He got the.
I mean, you just kind of did.
Just part of the end, folks. Yeah, this is how it looked like. He goes to a place that's called the Transformation Chamber, which isn't named in this one. They don't explain where he goes. And Leviathan is the god of hell, and I don't know what it is. It chooses who gets to be a Cenobite and who just gets to be a victim. Yep. But basically, in this version of the movie, the perfect configuration is what sends him to, I mean, because they make hell look like heaven, so it's like one consciousness, it's like one place. I don't know. Obviously, these movies have their own freaking ideology that they follow. I mean, a lot of people say the metaphors and the originals from Clive Barker were like his warped sense of Catholicism, but obviously we're not trying to speak religion. We're just talking about there is a religious element to the movies, so deal with it. Obviously, demons are a thing. But I think some people... Is it this movie or... Yeah, this movie referred to them as angels at one point, didn't it?
I watched the first one and this one, and I want to say they both there's a line somebody said some people call them angels.
Right, like Serena is referring to Roland and about how like they would come visit him, and he like referred to them as angels.
Yeah, creepy.
In this movie for sure.
Yeah, so if they really aren't demons at all and they are angels, holy crap. Oh, and speaking of somebody else who's afraid of the devil, like our friend Mark, who likes to send us comments, who's been tuning in for a couple weeks now. Thanks, Mark. He sent me a message. I'm going to dig it up. You got any more facts you didn't share, Dave? Wait,
No.
Did you tell me your favorite Cenobites yet?
Mine was the Chatterer.
Yeah. Dave didn't really say.
Because I too also like CD Dude and Camerahead. Those were the ones that always stick in my head.
The new one, the Gasp, was kind of cool. She's the one that she helps change someone into a Cenobite by like plucking the pearl off another one, and like I don't know. Do you guys?
Okay, I found it. He says, "Yo, John, I'm enjoying the horror theme on the podcast. Exorcisms freak me out, and I've been wondering about that movie, My Best Friend's Exorcism. We covered that last week, folks. Cueing what his comment is talking about, the reference. He says, I'm definitely more curious after your show, but not sure if I can make the leap to watching it because exorcisms are way too freaky for me. Yeah,
I get freaked out by this one.
What?
I said you will not be freaked out by this one.
Yeah, the scariest part is
by the exorcism.
Yeah,
that he's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
No, you won't be scared by that movie.
Yeah, the scariest part is like the symptoms of her, like being taken over by a demon.
Well, it's possible he's superstitious about actual exorcisms or something. You know what I mean? Like, if movies like. So I make fun of those haunted shows on Discovery all the time, but they're like, "Oh, we got this video of a ghost bugging us in this jail," and I'm thinking like, "Well, what if your videos are cursed like the." What's that movie? Not The Grudge. What's the other one that's in the same category of like extreme Asian horror? Yeah, The Ring or Ringu. Yeah. You watch the video and you die or whatever 7 days later or something. So like Discovery has all those freaking haunted house shows, right? Like if the video is really haunted, then the little creature could get you, David. You're watching that, Haunted Bros 7 in the, Fort Collins jail, Jordan, and like. You just watch it on Discovery one day, and then like the ghost comes out of the television because it's a haunted video, right?
Sure. There's just some haunted show or something.
What is this? Many leaps? Is this too many leaps? Are you afraid of exorcists, David?
Am I?
Or exorcism? Demons?
I was when I was a kid.
Yeah. When was the first time you saw Hellraiser? Like age-wise?
Probably like, I want to say like 24, 25.
Oh man, the appropriate age
I've
is
seen.
8.
Well, I saw. Well, that's for the first time I've seen the first one. But if you're gonna ask me the first time I've seen one in general, I want to say I saw number 3.
No, that was a joke. I was saying like I thought you inappropriately, watched it when you were like 8 or 9.
No, I saw maybe number 3 when I was like 10.
Oh.
Or
Never mind.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of restrictions in the Rogers household when I was growing up, but except for how late I could stay up, which means I didn't get to watch many of them.
No.
We also clued into this werewolf special that Marvel put up on Disney Plus called Werewolf by Night, which reminded me of House on Haunted Hill mixed with a little bit of that 80s cheesy horror sleaze and like Waxworks 1 and 2. Also maybe a little bit of like how David was talking about houses transforming and things. There were a lot of traps in these monster killer houses. I guess I don't know. I don't know much about the comic book. I just think like it's based on the Wolfman. Who knows? They did like Tomb of Dracula. They started doing some horror stuff in Marvel, like I don't know, late 70s, 80s or something, like when Blade showed up in Tomb of Dracula. But I don't know much about Werewolf by Night, except I think he's supposed to be a hero or an anti-hero, but it's a werewolf, so we love talking about werewolves, so let's just do it. It's a holiday special. It's a one-off, which is really cool. It's also shorter than an hour, so you can just consume the plot. It features a really popular character from Marvel called Man-Thing, although they nicknamed him Ted, which is just a joke, I guess, a throwaway for this show, because I don't know if his name is actually Ted. But Man-Thing is like a Swamp Thing, or The Heap, which is a classic comic. It's basically a monster composed of swamp elements, but Man-Thing actually hangs out with Spider-Man sometimes in the comics. I don't know if he's in Werewolf by Night, the comic book series. But anyway, because I have no point of reference, it's like almost a better way to enjoy Marvel stuff, right? Because there's too many expectations with, like we were talking about Blade in the beginning. So many expectations over here with Johnny. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how you guys feel, but like, the bar's here. Werewolf by Night, I don't know anything about it. So a bunch of monster hunters gather to inherit a magical thing called the Bloodstone. And they got to compete to kill the monster in the maze behind the mansion. And it has booby traps and like all this crap. And it's clear who the werewolf is. I mean, like obviously the main guy star, Gabriel
Garcil.
Yeah.
Messing it up. He has 3 names. He's a great actor.
Yeah. Anyway, from Y Tu Mama Tambien, the other guy. I almost said Diego Luna, but that's the other dude who's in Star Wars Andor, who's like a spinoff from
Rogue One,
a Star Wars story. Yeah. Man, Disney's getting a lot of free plugs on this one. Or grown-up Disney, right?
Well, I thought it was so cute. He's the voice of Hector in Coco. I noticed his voice the whole time.
Is it also a Disney property?
Yeah.
Oh man, is it about dogs or cats or something?
Coco?
Yeah.
Oh, Coco. Oh.
It's so cute. You have to watch it. I'm gonna cry. It's adorable.
I know. I'm thinking at the very end already.
It's so cute.
Remember me?
Oh my god! I was about to sing it too, Dave.
I'm completely lost. All right.
Watch Coco.
I love it when like me and Jordan can like box John out for something for just a moment.
Just a second.
Wow.
It never happens. Well, at least just not for me. But
what do you guys think of Werewolf by Night?
I liked it. I liked that it was short, festive. I loved the Ted, I guess is his name. So cute. And one thing I did like is the werewolf transformation of like how they had the strobing shadow of him transforming and she's like cowering in the cage. Thought that was pretty cool because I know that that's been a thing that we talked about in our werewolf movies is like how awful a werewolf transformation can make a movie, and they like left it to the imagination on that and did a pretty cool job.
And they pulled a Land of the Lost move where he's like a furry creature type dude, but he has like a human face, very human face, which is definitely a risk. But they did it in Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox, and it was great. So why not do it in Werewolf by Night, David?
Yeah, it was fine. Like Jordan said, it's short, so it wasn't a huge time commitment. It was fine. I was entertained for 55 minutes or whatever it was. I guess I might binge later.
And all the monster hunters are kind of have cool aspects, either physical or they get some funny lines. You know, it's like a dude with a battle axe. There's another one a woman that looks like a skeleton, like if Skeletor showed up. The batshit crazy mother who's like, who's gonna inherit this bloodstone? Who's like, her husband is dead, but her husband's like the most famous Elia bloodstone or something, and then like the daughter's there trying to inherit the bloodstone. So it's one of those stories, folks. People gather in a location and have to fight their way out. It's kind of cool.
With a werewolf.
With a werewolf. I mean, it's in the title and it's in the movie. It delivers. We're coming back next week for some more haunted crap. And Dave's going to redeem himself from his Hellraiser list. He'll know everything about next week's movie and then some.
What is next week's movie?
Good question. I have no. I almost swore again. I'll keep the swearing down to a minimum, folks. Just talk about plot. Jordan, have you seen either Hellbenders or Drag Me to Hell?
Nope, I don't think so. Drag Me to Hell sounds familiar, but
that's also a Sam Raimi. But this is like a bank teller offends an old gypsy woman, and she curses her with some goat god, and then like she gets stalked the whole movie, and is trying to figure out how she avoids getting literally dragged to hell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds right up my alley.
Hellbender is about a group of priests to prevent the Armageddon. They actually have to screw things up as much as possible. Like it's like they have to counter the scales of balance by committing sins instead of preventing sin. It's like one specific order of the church or whatever. Hellbenders. It's kind of cool.
Ooh.
But it's like a horror comedy, you know. So if you want your really horrific stuff to happen, it's not that scary.
I mean, both are actually horror comedies, honestly.
Well, Justin.
Drag Me to Hell is definitely funny as well.
Justin's Long is in Drag Me to Hell, isn't he? The boyfriend? Is that who the boyfriend is? Yeah. All right then. Well, originally slated was this Cheerleader movie because there's a new Cheerleader movie coming out. The Bring It On is actually having a horror entry on Sci-Fi Channel. Like, oh, we'll watch that, and then we'll watch this thing called Cheerleader Camp. Now, I know our hour is up, but like, there is something to be said, a conversation for like these movies that are getting lost from like VHS to the original DVDs. Like, Cheerleader Camp was like widely available when I was a kid. You could rent it. It's a horror movie. It's got a slasher movie. Now it's like nowhere. Dave's like, oh yeah, somebody stuck it on YouTube, and I'm like, YouTube can't be the only source of videos ever all time. Yeah. Like,
but it's been on there for like 8 years, so it's not going anywhere.
If I started a charity, it would be like, let's preserve or find the films that are lost. Oh, you mean like great films like Gone with the Wind or like Philadelphia or Wizard of Oz? I'm like, no. I mean like Cheerleader Camp and Children of the Night. I mean like all this sleazy slasher stuff from the 80s and 90s that, you know, disappeared during the great VHS purge, you know, or in the video store purge. Like, they're like, oh yeah, let's put those in the Library of Congress. Let's give them 4Ks. Done.
You know, you joke, but there's going to be a company. There's going to be a Cheerleader Camp 4K coming out soon. I can feel it.
It'll get restored. It'll be such an outcry.
You know what? You joke. I mean, a company like Vinegar Syndrome could do it. They put out that kind of stuff all the time in 4K. So you never know.
Are we gonna watch a Cheerleader movie or not?
The suspense is killing me. That's so great. I love One Track Mind. I love that. She's like, wait a minute, like I'm not getting off track.
I've been holding this fact that the What Do We Like to Do review came from my actual Cheerleader Camp. So I've been saying it this whole time on the podcast. Cheerleader Camp.
Oh, wrong thing. That would have been a perfect time to play off her comment, and I hit the wrong button. Oh, man. All right, Dave, here's your last chance to be a hero on this episode. Do you have a coin? Wow, he's got a whole bag of things, folks. I asked for a coin, and he's opened a bag of paraphernalia. He might actually have a Hellraiser sex toy in his bag over there. I'm not sure exactly what we're looking at here.
All right. I got it from my monkey.
Wow.
Like this is literally a monkey.
Oh, it actually, I thought it was a bag. No, it's not a brown bag. It's actually a monkey. Piggy bank. Monkey bank.
Right. So what is which?
Okay, heads, we watch a bunch of haunted cheerleader slasher movies. Haunted by the fact that they're cheerleaders. No offense to you, Jordan. You said you were a cheerleader in a camp.
Okay.
I guess I got burned. It's because I dated 3 cheerleaders when I was a mascot. I got into a fight over one of them. That's a book David's writing about my life. That's one of the chapters.
We could make it the premise of a horror movie.
Yeah, David's my authorized biographer. Unless you ask him to only pull facts from one event.
Okay, we're flipping the coin.
Sorry, David. I got way off track. You should have reeled me in like at the first
So
joke.
Heads, cheerleader movie.
It is a cheerleader movie with rolling heads. Tails is, I'll push up the movies that I thought were going to be the Halloween special. I forgot to mention that. We're going to do a special. Oh, well, forget it. I'll mention it next week, and then it'll be too late. All right. Heads is a cheerleader death movie, and Tails is Drag Me to Hell and Hellbenders.
All right.
Oh, wait, and we have to talk about the new Halloween. I forgot. That's the...
Cool. So, all right, Tell. So we are watching, I guess, Drag Me to Hell.
Wow, so next week is a triple feature. Because it's Drag Me to Hell, Hellbenders, and freaking our evaluation of the new Halloween Ends that gets dropped on Peacock.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
All right.